Good day. It's August 3rd of 2026. Following a recent U.S. Supreme Court decision in favor of the Trump administration, ending the protected status of Haitian immigrants, more than 300,000 Haitians in the U.S. fear deportation and possible death if returned to Haiti. I'm Sam Buban. Welcome to The Pulse.
And I'm Joe Boban. Welcome to this week's edition.
A major immigration crackdown will be underway soon across the United States. As of Monday, July 27, 2026, more than 300,000 Haitian immigrants have officially lost their temporary protected status, or TPS, following a landmark Supreme Court ruling last month. The decision has paved the way for the administration to end protections for both citizens of Haiti and Syria, with the court declaring such decisions are not reviewable by a judge. As a result, hundreds of thousands of people who lived and worked lawfully in this country for years are now finding themselves unemployed and facing immediate deportation. The fallout has been immediate. Sources tells us that ICE is already ramping up operations to arrest and remove those who have lost their status. In immigrant communities, the mood is described as complete chaos and immense fear, particularly as families are being told to return to the country the U.S. government has warned its own citizens is too dangerous to visit. Attorneys for the affected families argued in court that this policy was rooted in racial animus, pointing to false claims made by the president and vice president regarding Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio. Immigration attorney Jeff Pipley said the pathway are pretty narrow. The Homeland Security Secretary suggests people can just self-deport for $2,000, but she fails to mention that leaving usually triggers a 10-year bar from returning to the U.S. These folks are facing immediate physical harm if they go back to their former country. While former DHS Secretary Kristi Noem has stated that maintaining these protections is contrary to national interest, advocates point to the data. TPS holders are required to have clean criminal records and actually maintain a higher labor participation rate than native-born citizens. The impact of this ruling may soon extend beyond the Haitian community. With the legal path cleared, other nations are now under scrutiny. We are closely watching the status of Ukraine, whose TPS designation is scheduled for review this coming October.
A high-stakes political showdown is unfolding in America's industrial heartland. As of this week, the battle for Michigan's open Senate seat has reached a fever pitch with control of the upper chamber of Congress, potentially hanging in the balance for the 120th Congress. The recent televised debate has paved the way for a final aggressive week of campaigning between two candidates offering radically different visions for the Democratic Party. As a result, voters are facing a stark choice between a four-term incumbent who claims to have the receipts of effective lawmaking and a public health outsider promising to dismantle a system he describes as bought off by corporate interests. The fallout from the debate has been immediate. Sources tell us that the primary focus has shifted to the massive $60 million crutch of outside spending has flooded the race. In political circles, the mood is described as highly contentious, particularly as candidates clash over the $46 million spent by AIPAC to back Haley Stevens, a sum Abdul El Sayed argues represents a quid pro quo that forecloses to the possibility of Palestinian self-determination. Attorneys and advocates for both sides are closely watching the receipts. While Stevens touts her record as Michigan's most effective Democratic lawmaker, El Sayed has countered by highlighting her history of taking $40,000 in donations from utility giants like DTE, who he claims are jacking up prices on Michigan's families. Dr. Abdul El Sayed said, when you're bought off by DTE and Blue Cross and Big Pharma, don't be surprised that there's a pro quo that comes with that quid. That money doesn't just fall off the tree, while Congresswoman Stevens has stated that these accusations are mere lip service and that she is a proven fighter. El Sayed points to the data. He notes that he is the only candidate in the race who has never touched a dime from corporate PAC money, and he is promising radical shifts, including abolishing ICE and eliminating $225 billion in medical debt nationwide. The impact of the Michigan primaries outcome may soon extend beyond Michigan's borders, with the spending in this race reaching a 12-to-1 ratio against the outsider. The Democratic Party's national identity is under the scrutiny. We are closely watching the results of Tuesday's primary, August 4, especially after a live poll at the debate showed 90+% of viewers believe Dr. El Sayed won the debate. Congresswoman Haley Stevens ran against then Congressman Andy Levin, a progressive Jew and son of Michigan State Senator Sander Levin, when then Congressman Levin proposed in Congress in 2021 the Two-State Solution Act, which got the backing from pro-two-state and anti-war organizations, including progressive Jews like Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs of California and Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. AIPAC and Democratic Majority for Israel spent millions against Congressman Andy Levin in the 2022 primary campaign, putting Haley Stevens as their candidate, which she eventually won the primary in 2022 and the general election. Stevens got a lot of backlash, calling her unpatriotic after her speech in 2023 in a rally of family members being held hostage by Hamas in Gaza in her support for the hostages, saying she will fight for Israel as if she is not representing the United States.
In the United States Congress, I will continue to fight for the people of Israel. I will continue to fight for Israel's existence. Israel comes to me in my dreams. I see Israel's future, and I know that Israel will continue to exist for the Jewish people.
We will take a commercial break, but please stay tuned for the interview with Assemblywoman Danielle Monroe Moreno when we come back.
What does your child dream of becoming? In the I Want to Be book series, young readers follow children as they discover the power of learning, leadership, and helping others. The series of 22 books from Ivory Publishing is an inspiring collection that introduces children to careers, confidence, purpose, and possibility. Give a child more than a book. Available now on Amazon, in paperback, and on Kindle. Or visit www.ivorypublishing.llc.net.
I'm Scott Black. When I was first elected, North Las Vegas was a lot like my classic VW bus. It needed some attention. Now an awesome new NLV is taking shape, kind of like this. And we're headed into a future where we have the best of everything. Stronger public safety, improved neighborhoods, new amenities, and higher paying jobs for working families. I'm Scott Black, and I'm asking for your vote so together we can bring this momentum to every road in our city.
Welcome back to The Pulse. With us now here at our Film TV studios is Danielle Monroe Moreno, outgoing Nevada Assemblywoman from District 1, and is now running for North Las Vegas City Mayor in November general election. Danielle, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's good to see you both.
Same here. It's our pleasure having you here.
Before we go into the questions, please tell us a bit about yourself.
So, as you said, I am Danielle Monroe Moreno. I currently serve in the Nevada State Legislature representing Assembly District 1. I have been in the legislature since 2016. I will be leaving the legislature as the first Black woman to be in leadership in our state assembly. I'm leaving as the Speaker Pro Tem, and I chair the Ways and Means Committee, and still in that role until November's election. Before serving in the legislature, my career was in law enforcement, and I served 20 years with the North Las Vegas Police Department as a corrections officer. Before that was with Maricopa County Sheriff's Office in Phoenix, Arizona. But the most important role I have is mom, grandma, and
Nice.
wife. My husband, Gary, and I have a blended family with our 3 daughters, our 2 sons, and our 7 grandchildren. That's my most important role, other than being an auntie.
Besides the public service, right? You really
Love the public service. Yes, yes.
North Las Vegas is one of the fastest growing city in the Pacific West.
Yeah.
What are at stake for North Las Vegas that made you decide to run as to be a mayor?
So North Las Vegas has been home for over 30 years. It's the community where I raised my family in. It's the community that's been with me through some of the toughest parts of life. But as an employee with the city, I often found myself at city council meetings saying, this is wrong, but this is how we can make it right. And if that doesn't work, here's a backup plan to the backup plan. So I always thought if I ran for office, it would be for city council. But back in 2015, when knowing that then Assembly member Marilyn Kirkpatrick was termed out, was looking for the right person to run for her seat. And I just wasn't finding that person. I've been involved in politics most of my life. My parents were very active members in our community that I grew up in, and always at council meetings and things. So I wanted someone who had a heart for the community, not with a personal agenda to benefit themselves.
Right.
My children said, Mom, I think maybe this is your seat. And I said, no, city council's where I'm going. But we prayed about it. And we prayed
Yeah.
about it as a family, because everything that you do in politics, it's not just about the person whose name's on the ballot. It encompasses the entire family. So we
Prayed about
prayed
it,
about
yeah.
it. And I felt that's where God was leading me to the legislature, to have more of an impact at the policy table in Carson City of what happens in North Las Vegas. But as you know, there are term limits on
Yes.
elected positions, and I would have one more term in the legislature. But again, I didn't feel that's where God was leading me. Towards the end of session, I felt I was being led in a different direction. Wasn't sure what that direction was. So again, I told my family, we're gonna pray about it and see where God leads us. But we prayed about it a lot, but it was our community that asked, are you running for mayor? You're going to run for mayor, right? You are running for mayor. We really need you to run for mayor. And again, it was my kids who said, Mom, I don't know if you're listening, but I think God's talking to you. That's where the community needs you. So that's where we as a family are running to continue the service that we've been doing for over 30 years in this community.
You are also the state chair of the Nevada Democratic Party. How do you handle work demand of a state chair in your mayoral campaign?
It's like anything else. It's a balancing act, right? Like I said, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a grandma, I'm still a state legislator, I'm the state party chair, and I'm a candidate. Running for office is something we do every 2 years in the legislature, so that's nothing new.
Okay.
And I have an amazing staff on my campaign, small but mighty. But I also have amazing staff at the state party that we've been able to assemble. Again, small but mighty. I have learned to compartmentalize my life, and there are days of the week that I'm focused just on my legislative business, and that's it. And there's days I'm focused just on the campaign, and there's days that I'm focused just on the state party. Occasionally, mornings are taking care of one thing and afternoons are another, but it's compartmentalizing and surrounding myself with talented, capable staff to help in every aspect of it. So if I'm not overly busy, I'm bored. So it's kind of like my norm to have a
Yes,
few
yeah.
irons in the fire. So it keeps me out of trouble. It keeps me busy and keeps my mind going. And every title that I hold allows me to have engagement and interaction in our community. So,
If there is one thing among many that you want to do for City of North Las Vegas as mayor, what would it be that you want to work on immediately with your city council?
and you're right, there are so many. It's
Yes.
hard to pick just one, especially hearing the comments at the doors from constituents and in the grocery stores and everything. But like I said, I've lived in the city of North Las Vegas for over 30 years.
Yes.
And one of the biggest things is we are a majority minority city that is extremely diverse.
Yes. Yes.
And not every voice feels heard or welcomed at City Hall and City Council.
Mhm.
I want to make sure that people know that every neighborhood matters, every voice in our city matters, and that we're just one city. So being a mayor and a council that's welcoming, open, transparent with our
Mhm.
interactions, and that we really hear and actively work to address their needs.
We are almost out of time for this segment. So last words from you. The words are yours, Danielle. Go ahead, talk to your voters.
Well, thank you. So for any voters that are watching, first of all, thank you so much for having me here today.
It's our
And
pleasure.
thank you so much for your support of my campaign and being with me, both my campaign for the mayoral race and the work that I do at the state party.
Yes.
North Las Vegas, I believe, because I'm a resident of North Las Vegas, needs a leader that can be there for the long term. There's a lot of growth that is set to happen in the city of North Las Vegas with the build out of our medical corridor and the land for the next campus for UNLV. We have Nevada State University going in now. There's a lot of things on the horizon that needs a leader that can be there for the long term. By electing me, I could be there for the full 12 years, as long as I'm blessed to get elected and then reelected for 2 following elections. We need a leader who cares about the people, who's never left community. My career was with the city of North Las Vegas. I raised my family in the city of North Las Vegas, and I have represented this community, all of this community at the state legislature for the last 10 years. My work in this community, and when you look at our family, my family is Black. We're Black, white, Hispanic, Native American, we're AAPI, we're straight, we're gay. We look like that great melting pot of who America is, but that's the great melting pot of who North Las Vegas is. If you want a leader who's going to be honest, transparent, and appreciate your honesty and your transparency, then it's Danielle Monroe Moreno you want as your next mayor. And if you'd like to get involved with my campaign, I would love to have you join Team DMM. We are a family, and community for us comes first, where every voice, every neighborhood matters because we are one city.
Assemblywoman Danielle Monroe Moreno, candidate for North Las Vegas mayor and chair of the Nevada State Democratic Party. Thank you for talking to us today, and good luck on your race.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.
Welcome back to The Pulse. Joining us now here at PhilAm TV studios is Dr. Gwyneth Smith, a clinical psychologist and a lawyer working as Chief Deputy District Attorney in Clark County Juvenile Division, now running for Family Court Judge, Department D, for Nevada's 8th Judicial District. Gwen, welcome.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you both having me on the program today and giving me the opportunity to introduce myself.
Oh, yes, absolutely. It's our pleasure that we could talk to you with your credentials as a doctor, psychologist, and supervising prosecutor. So, yeah.
Why don't you tell our viewers about your personal and professional background?
Well, a little bit about me. I guess I'll start. I am a mom. I have an 11-year-old daughter. I'm a wife. We've lived here in Las Vegas for 14 years now. My mom lives with us as well. So personally, those are kind of the most important things to me. From a professional perspective, ever since we moved to Las Vegas, I joined the DA's office back in 2012. And came to the DA's office kind of from an unusual path. As you mentioned, I trained as a clinical psychologist, and so I was working with kids and families long before I ever became a DA. And I actually decided to become a DA because I saw the kids and families I was working with going through the court system. I
Yes.
saw their struggles, I saw the issues they had, and I knew that I could help as an attorney in the courtroom. So that's what drove me to join the DA's office. I have been working there, as I said, for 14 years now in the juvenile division. I think a lot of people, your viewers, might not know that we have DAs who practice in family court and public defenders who practice in family court.
Yes.
And that's because family court judges hear a lot of different case types. 12 of the 26 actually don't hear only divorce custody. They hear foster care cases, they hear juvenile delinquency, they hear guardianship cases. So I have been in family court basically every day for 14 years.
So, as a doctor of clinical psychology and now a deputy chief prosecutor in Clark County, working with the juvenile division, that's a perfect combination and match of qualifications. So, what's the new motivation to run for a judge?
Well, first of all, if you want to be a judge, you need to know yourself, that you're ready, that you have the experience that you need. And so for me, that was critically important. So as I said, I've been in the courtroom almost every day on every kind of issue you can see kids and families come to court with for 14 years. So I personally felt ready, and I knew that I wanted to take the next step to serve the community. I mean, my career, a big part of it is I view myself as a public servant. When you're a district attorney or a public defender, or you work for legal aid, you're a public servant.
Yes.
And so taking these skills that I have and bringing them to the bench for kids and families is kind of the next step in public service.
If elected judge in the Family Court, Department D, what kind of cases do you expect to be dealing with at that department?
So that's a really good question. Right now, Department D has changed. Until January, it heard foster care cases for many years, juvenile dependency. In January, it got reassigned to what we call domestic cases. So those are divorce and child custody. So one thing your viewers, I think, should understand, as I said, is family court judges can be assigned to a variety of different caseloads and really need to be experts in those different caseloads. So being a DA in juvenile dependency is a really good training ground. You see a lot of the different case types. I appear on juvenile delinquency cases as well. I appear in guardianship court. And for divorce and custody issues, when you have a family enter the foster care system, they very often have a custody case that came before the foster care case, and they may be going back to custody court afterwards. So it's really a requirement that you're familiar with that system, the court orders, why the judge made the orders that they made. So it's a good training ground to get a wide variety of experience. Also, at the end of the day, when you're a judge in the family division, you have to be an expert on the law. You have to be an expert on courtroom procedure, but you also have to be experts in other things. You either have to come with that expertise or you have to develop it. And those are really the issues that families come to court needing help with. And a lot of those are the same across all these case types. So understanding domestic violence and its effect, substance use, mental health for kids, mental health for parents, these are all some of the most difficult issues you see across our court system. And those are the issues I've been working on for 14 years.
So Gwen, if elected judge, what are on your wish list? Things that you want to improve or things you want to do in your court for the better?
So I really believe in the importance of our family court system. I know firsthand how consequential the decisions made in family court are.
Yes.
When you make decisions about kids and families, it has effects for the rest of their lives. So it's really important to get those decisions right. One issue that I'm very aware of and think the entire court system has to be aware of, when we think about divorce and custody cases right now, the most recent statistic I heard was that well over half of those cases, people are coming to court without an attorney. Hiring an attorney is incredibly expensive. It's not accessible for a lot of our families. So you have people coming into court on the most important issues of their lives, their children and their finances, and they're there for the first time, usually by themselves. So the court system, knowing that that's now the majority of families we're serving, really has to be able to operate with them in mind, make the system work for them. So whether it's supporting our self-help center, which has a lot of resources for families,
Yes.
or whether it's just as a judge, the way you do your job, the way you interact with and treat people who come into your courtroom, knowing that they're probably going to be nervous, knowing that they're worried about what decision is going to be made,
I could imagine.
emotions might be running high. As a judge, you really have to serve them by being incredibly prepared, treating everybody with respect and dignity, every single person who comes into your courtroom, explaining what issue the court is deciding that day,
Yes.
and making sure people understand. A judge can't give legal advice, but a judge should be really clear with the parties around what's happening, what's the next step going to be. So people leave the courtroom feeling they've been heard, and that they have an understanding of the basic process.
We are almost out of time for this segment, so I would rather have you talk to your voters in front of the camera. Feel free, this is your pitch.
Thank you so much. So my name is Gwyneth Smith. I am running for Family Court Department D because I've been a public servant for 14 years now, working in our DA's office, in the juvenile division in our family courts, really trying to help our community with some of the most serious issues kids and families come to court with. Becoming a judge is the next step in public service for me. My background that I've gained in the courtroom as a chief deputy DA, combined with my background as a psychologist working with kids and families, I think is something really unique, and I hope to be able to make that contribution to our community. So please do your research. I appreciate this opportunity to introduce myself to you, but learn about all of the candidates, and I would really appreciate your vote this November.
Gwyneth Smith, candidate for Family Court Department D, thank you for talking to us and good luck on your race.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
You're very welcome. And to our viewers, please join us again next week for a new edition of The Pulse. I'm Sam Buban. Thank you for watching.
And I'm Joe Buban. God bless your week.